itself. The sugar itself comes from one thing, the two things that everybody agrees on are fruits and vegetables. How much fruits is your children eating? How many fruits are our children in the community eating, especially out in the projects? How many vegetables are they eating? What type of servings of fruits and vegetables are they eating in relation to this other food here? Where are the nutrients coming from? They coming from the children's own body. The children gotta create stuff themselves, and they ain't got the materials to create it with, nutritionally. So when we are wondering why our children are running around, this is in addition to all of the whole psychological and spiritual aspect of it. But when we go down to this here, because food is energy also, and it either uplifts the energy or it depresses the energy. It's either going to contribute to enhancing your body's function, or it's going to contribute to breaking down your body's functions, one or the other. So when we are making a conscious decision to give our children these foods out of convenience, we better off almost doing much or nothing, because it's doing more harm than it is helping them. It's clogging them up. It's making them irritated. It's interfering with their ability to think and concentrate in school. B vitamins are also very essential for that. It's creating diabetes. It's creating high blood pressure in children. It's creating hormonal imbalances, especially dealing with the dairy products and the fried foods. And then it's setting them up to live unhealthy lifestyles in the future, which is why black children, black men especially, have the lowest life expectancy in the United States. I think it's the world, matter of fact. I don't know if it's the United States or the world, but it's one. Lowest life expectancy, which is somewhere around 67 years. The majority of that 67-year span is usually coming from the upper class neighborhood.
What contributes to that 67-year lifespan? Like, is it geographically, or is it?
No. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
That's all across the board. Don't matter what the social economic status is. All across the board, the life expectancy for black men in the United States is 67 years old. That is due primarily to this. They want to blame it on poverty, but we have access to fruits. We have access to vegetables. It might not be the best quality stuff, but I guarantee you that's better than going to McDonald's. We got time to stop there. We got time to stop at Burger King. We got time to stop at Wendy's. We don't have time to stop and pick up an apple or salad. You know, and it gets back to the conditioning, that conceptual control. Because why don't we do those things that we know are better for ourselves and for our children? It goes back to that conceptual control. It goes back to the implanting of the commercials. It goes back to all of these billboards that are up there that are telling you, look, you want this. You don't want no apples. You don't want salad. You don't want greens. You don't want oranges. You want this. This is quick. This is convenient. We'll go out our way to go to some of these restaurants before we go out our way to get something that's good for us and for our children.
Just a quick question. You say that it may not be the best quality fruits and vegetables and several, but with everything being grown through the land that is turned into, none of it is really good.
None of it is really good.
I mean, you got to think about the fact that they've already treated the land that they're going to grow it into.
Oh yeah, you got your threats there too. You know, and the solution to that is really getting back to, again, organizing ourselves, owning our own land, controlling our own land, being able to at the very least, and one thing I was glad Brother Manifest, when I came to Happily Natural Day last year, he had the farmers panel discussion, the black organic farmers panel discussion here. That was powerful. That was probably the most powerful thing that he brought. Because you don't see that nowhere. I've yet to see a group of our people coming together talking about owning land and doing something positive with the land that's going to uplift our people and teaching young children how to grow fruits and vegetables. You know, and having stuff available, and you have a community fruit and vegetable co-op that you do in the springtime, that, you know, that's powerful. We need more of that in our community, because now we're going back to who are we supporting and who's growing and stuff like that. This majority white farmers who are subsidized by the government. You know, we gotta look at the whole picture here. These are white farmers, majorly, who are being subsidized by the government to grow these crops in a particular way.
But I also want to, what the sister was speaking about, they also control the seeds.
Can you speak up?
They control the seeds, whereas we really can't. We need to grow our own fruits and vegetables, but the reality of it is this: they control everything down to the seeds.
No, they don't control all the seeds.
It's moving into that direction.
Moving to that direction, but this is the importance of bringing forums like this where we can discuss these things, so we can start to move on stuff like that. Because it's not at that point yet. They don't control all of the seeds.
Not all of it.
You know, but they are.
There's certain places you can get your seeds. Southern Seed Exchange. There's a catalog that is distributed amongst agriculturalists where you can get, you know, real seeds. You know, if you go to the market, go like Lowe's, Home Depot, those might not be real seeds.
You can get your own seeds after you actually use the vegetables. Every vegetable that you use is actually
Southern Seed Exchange.
Okay, how do you know that their seeds are
Well-
not touched? Because
Well, I'm gonna say this. There's two ways to go. Okay. We were talking about earlier, 100% organic, 95%, 75%. This is USDA, FDA, whatever. But there are specific entities that have the same concerns as me and you, okay? They're like, look, I don't want no hybrid, I don't want no genetically modified organism, I want the real deal, I want the real seed. And of course, you know, just like among the African people, you have people that say, all right, well, I don't want no government intervention. There are Europeans or other ethnicities that have the same exact concern. So you know, there are companies that are doing commerce around these same issues. Like we certify organic. Like we don't have no. This is not a hybrid splice.
100% organic.
We don't have no seedless grapes. We don't have no seedless. You know, we don't have no seedless. There's no government intervention. And one of the most recommended sources for your seeds right now, as far as I know, and I'm not an agriculturalist, you know, so there's other people that have more information than I. But one of the best ones that are promoted by those folks that are doing the urban agriculture, that are saying, all right, look, I ain't trying to go no factory farm, and they refer, you know, the Southern Seed Exchange as one of the best ones that you can go to. Now, I know it's highly plausible that there are others.
And the other thing, if you buy an organic cantaloupe, how many seeds is in the cantaloupe? Huh? I know, to start a cantaloupe farm, right? When you buy an organic apple, how many seeds is in the apple? Lemons, grapefruit, and so you can, once you make the investment in buying that organic fruit, God has put inside the fruit your gift. You're overlooking the blessing that's right before your eyes.
But see, I understand what you're saying. You're like, you know, how do you know it's organic? And see, the reality is that, you know, the only thing you can do is research the company,
Right.
okay? Because in my humble opinion, you know, there's a lot of it's very easy in these instances, especially when we talk about food security and food sovereignty, it's very easy to become nihilistic. It's very easy to become nihilistic, very pessimistic, like there's no way I get real food because the government controls everything and there's no way we're all locked in. But that God consciousness, will not allow a no way out situation for us. And I don't have that. My consciousness does not allow me to block myself in and say that there is no way out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, you have to do the research. You have to do your due diligence, and you have to really investigate and find out, okay, where did you get these seeds from? And I'm pretty positive that within the United States, there's very few companies that are producing 100% organic, because great many policies that were enacted by this government as far as the last 5 to 10 years has been pro genetically modified organisms, and this stuff is already on the market. But I'm sure that if you go into other countries that are not allowing it, you could probably even go online and purchase from overseas. We live in a global economy now, so if you decide to go online and try to do commerce with companies, maybe purchase from a company that's not in the United States. And I would even surmise that would probably be one of the best options. And in this particular juncture, consider I don't trust U.S. for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my piece.
I'm sorry, brother. I'd like to add to this conversation too that there are two types of testing that you can do on your foods. One is muscle testing, and if you go on a site like Paralanda, they offer all of the instructions of how to do muscle testing. And you put out your arm, and you take the thing, you ask a certain question into the universe, and it answers your question. And the other way is through using a pyramid, a pendulum. So you can use the pendulum to test your food. Dr. Douglas, who's a homeopath of about 80-something odd years, takes a pendulum everywhere he goes. And when he goes into the grocery store, he checks the energy of the food he's eating to check and see what kind of and how much energy it actually holds, and if it's a good piece for you to buy. So we can depend on the ancestors and the universe to guide us in those kinds of decisions, kind of like Harriet Tubman did when she was finding her way through the bush. So anyway.
I'm not to cut the questions off. I'm gonna go ahead and let the brother go in, but I know you got a little bit more to present, and I really appreciate this dialogue, because this is, out of all this, organic. This conversation is extremely pivotal. Extremely. We're talking about whether our children are gonna be mutated, in the next 30, 40 years, and so it's a big word, but mutation. You know what I'm saying? But that's a real,
like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, right. What food you eating? I don't know. It is made in the laboratory 20 years from now. What's going to be the after effect? That's a real conversation. But brother, go ahead, take your question, and then we're going to continue with the presentation.
Real quick, sister that just spoke, that's what was going through my mind, at least potentially. Because you're talking about frequency alignment technology, and everything in the universe carries a frequency to it, and the more you're tuned with awareness and self-awareness, when you use that pendulum in conjunction, or when you use the pendulum over the fruit or whatever it is that you're trying to test out the frequency on, it's your intention. Like if you have the intention to get the best quality foods because of a deep-seated sense of self-awareness and the love that you're seeking to feed and nourish off of, that intent will be communicated to the pendulum, and depending on the spin of the actual pendulum, which will actually affirm whether it's a yes or a no, will tell you whether or not this food is in line with your intention. So you have to go with the use of the right intention. We use a pendulum I bought a pendulum. Me and Queen went to Mind Body Spirit Expo a couple of weeks ago, purchased a pendulum that can tell you whether or not you're wearing your jewelry the right direction. Where you get it from? This one I bought